Top Gun Maverick has been out for 1 year, and because we didn't get to talk about it when it first came out, we're going to do it now. So, we're going to take you to Top Gun Maverick and beyond. Welcome back to Beyond the Film. I'm Brentley.
And I'm Ben.
And we're your gracious hosts. Now, obviously you know me, but Ben is brand new to the team here at Beyond the Film, and we're super excited to have him. Ben and I are actually old friends.
I can't remember a time when I didn't know you, so.
That's a really good point, actually. We've known each other forever, and Ben loves movies just as much as I do.
I'm also one of those weird people who I really like to deduce movies. I like to pick things apart, but not in how they filmed that weird. I like to look at, like, in Puss in Boots, all the weird psychological stuff that was going on. Why the hero's thinking that way. Why this person's acting that way. I love stuff like that because I'm really interested in people. I think people are the most interesting thing on the planet because everyone is so radically, wildly unique in every way. That's what I look at.
And I look at behind the scenes and like how the movies are made and, a lot more of the technical things. And so I didn't know that about you, and that's how you look at movies. So that's cool.
Yeah, almost always from social perspectives.
Well, then this will be fun because we're going to look at movies differently, and we'll get to share that with you. So Top Gun Maverick, actually, I have a very special relationship with this movie because I'm obsessed with it. And
with Tom Cruise, specifically. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like Top Gun Maverick, then we're going to need your help.
Like? Freaking A.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you really love Top Gun Maverick, then we're going to need your help.
We have a mission for you. Please subscribe to Beyond the Film channel, like this video, comment one of your favorite parts of Top Gun Maverick, and follow us on Instagram at beyond.thefilm, where you'll get some special behind-the-scenes updates on our videos, because that's what we're all about here. We go beyond.
Mostly just me messing around.
We'll post bloopers as well if you really want them. So you'll never know unless you follow us and subscribe, because we want to share our love for movies with you. Now back to the show.
Top Gun Maverick is one of the best movies of all time.
There you go. End of video.
Honestly, there's not been a movie in the last 20 years, I think, that I haven't looked at it and gone, wow, that was just an amazing movie. There's things that are amazing about a lot of things, but one that you go to the theater and you watch it and you go out thinking, I just watched one of the best movies I've ever seen, and I'm going to go watch it again. I've never had a movie like that in my lifetime. There's good movies and there's movies that I want to see again, but one where you walk out of the theater I need to see this again tomorrow. I'm okay with rewatching that right now.
You want to go right back into the theater and watch it again.
Yeah, just doing the prep for this, I've been I haven't had time to watch it. I've been sitting there I really just want to watch it again. I haven't seen it in 3 months. I need to watch it again. I gotta go now.
One of the reasons that I like Maverick so much is it's an entertaining movie. And
it's a connecting movie. So a good movie is a movie that connects with the audience. Any movie that can get you almost feeling that you're intermingling with the people, you want to get in there. It's no, dude, don't do that. Or yes, dude, do this. Or oh my gosh, Tom Cruise or Maverick, he's crashed right now, and the helicopter is coming to hit him. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Having those experiences and having those moments internally are just really, really emotional for normal people when you get immersed into it.
I would agree with that. That is really good filmmaking. The job of a writer and director is to tell a story, and a good storyteller will take you on a journey and help you, try to help you understand the characters and what they're going through and why. And Top Gun Maverick accomplishes that really well. Yeah. So now we're going to move into the good parts of this movie. There's a lot.
The high-flying moments.
But we narrowed it down to the high-flying moments, the high altitudes, because this is a flying movie. So we wanted to just rename things a little bit because we're cool. We were original. Some of our high-flying moments are...
Is it original?
I'll say it is.
Okay.
My wife, she typically doesn't like to rewatch movies, especially in theaters, because, ticket prices, you got to buy an extra ticket. So she doesn't like to watch movies repeatedly. She liked Top Gun so much that over the course of its run, I think we ended up going 3 different times. She got to enjoy it every time, and that's how special and how well done Top Gun Maverick was. In the beginning, Rooster and Maverick have a rocky relationship because of their past together. And again, like you mentioned, you pick up on that. They're pretty clear about it throughout the movie, and they give you little bits of information. But then by the end, Maverick gets to prove himself to Rooster, to Bradley. And then at the end, they are united as a family. And Maverick and Rooster become pretty much father and son. And they get to have that relationship that Maverick is always striving for. But Maverick has grown in a way that allows him to be the father Bradley needs. And that's the journey he goes on. Healthy character growth.
And then, so the last one on that is Hangman. I thought Hangman had great character growth. And it sounds weird because, like, everyone, you kind of see him as this perspective of, like, oh, yeah, he's Iceman. He's this, he's that. He's this overconfident, overcocky guy. No, he wasn't. He was a lot like Iceman, but he was a lot like Maverick.
Yeah.
And I think that got missed, is that he was the ace pilot who was the best pilot. And Maverick, instead of saying, hey, you're on the mission, because like Maverick...
In the first movie,
they said, you're the best pilot, we're going to put you over here.
As a spare.
And everyone's like, whoa. And I thought too many people took it as like, oh yeah, he's acting like Iceman. That's how I took it at first. And I thought about it. I was like, no, he's the next Maverick. He's this guy who needs to be taught a little bit of a humility lesson. And then also, he is the best, so he's the backup. He's the guy who things go to crap. Send him out, help the other guys get back in, which is what he ended up becoming.
So another thing that I liked about Maverick was how suspenseful it was, and it was earned. It wasn't like false suspense.
Earned but predictable.
Yeah.
So you could see that it was going to happen, and you kind of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But they built it right. It wasn't that kind of like a horror movie suspense. You're like, oh my gosh, the villain's about to come out. They pull it and he's not there. And it's like, oh, he's not there. And then he shows up behind him. You've developed with the characters. These are real people who you actually can feel like they're a relationship. They've come closer together. And now it's like, oh my gosh, is he going to live? So those moments of suspense, like you said, are super well earned.
For example, it's foreshadowed a lot that Maverick is going to sacrifice himself. He just keeps saying, please send me. Don't let Rooster be the one sent off to die. They fulfill that foreshadow, and they make Maverick sacrifice himself. He's fine, but like you said, they earned that.
They had to develop it to the point where you knew it was going to happen, make it happen, and then you still feel like that feeling of loss. I feel like the feeling of loss is a lot like the feeling of suspense. They all kind of fit in a category of fear. He had that moment with the girl before they left on the thing, and he went and talked to her, and it was like, oh, he might not come back. And it's like, of course he might not come back. Like, they're setting it up for that. So,
and here we have with me at this moment is Micah. Micah works with me at our day job, and this is my side hustle. Micah, I just want to know a little bit about your story with Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me over, Brentley. Guys, I never saw Top Gun. I really never had any aviation experience or interests, really, until I met this guy. And just fantastic relationship that we've been able to build. But this guy would not stop talking about Top Gun. Once the new movie was getting ready to come out, he was like, you got to go see the first one since I have never saw it. You know what? It's okay, though, because once I saw it, I realized why. And it was just a really great experience. I loved both movies.
I'm glad that you liked both movies because they're a lot of fun. Just for curiosity, what is your favorite between Top Gun or Maverick? It's a hard choice, I know, because there's only two of them. But which one's your favorite?
Well, it is a hard choice because they're both very great movies. But ultimately, it comes down to Maverick.
Okay.
Because it's a lot cleaner, it's newer, and they were able to really put some good storyline into it and really reference back to the first movie a lot.
Okay. I like that. I like that you talk about referencing the first movie. And I think in a very healthy way. Since Maverick is your favorite movie, I'll ask, what is your favorite moment from Maverick?
I love the suspense when Maverick is stranded after he did his run, and and they show that enemy pilot coming in.
In the helicopter.
Yeah, and then he gets shot down by Rooster as he comes in and saves Maverick, and I think that's one of the top pieces of the movie.
Well, it's a good moment for sure. It tells an additional story. That's what's so interesting to me about that whole part of the movie is the dogfight with all the pilots. That's not the end. It's like there's an additional story to tell in the action with just Maverick and Rooster.
Right, and I think they do a great job of capturing that and continuing moving forward and leaving some of that suspense as you're watching the movie and as it's coming to a close.
I don't know if you actually caught this. Just speaking of the clever nostalgia that you were talking about, is they get Maverick back in the F-14, obviously, and they put Rooster in the back seat, taking us back to 1986 when Rooster's dad was in that back seat with Maverick.
What a great way to show almost like a cameo, but good nostalgia there. I agree.
Cool. Well, Micah, thank you so much for joining us at Beyond the Film today. It's been a pleasure having you as our guest.
Thank you so much for having me, Brentley. I appreciate being able to do this with you.
Sure. I always love talking about airplanes with you. It's our job. So, but this is fun. This is fun airplane talk.
Yes, it is. It sure is.
All right. Well, we might bring Micah back around one time or another, just because he loves movies too, and we talk about movies a lot, sometimes too much. So we'll see if we can get him again. All right. Thanks, Micah.
Thank you.
Well, as many great things as we can say and feel about Top Gun Maverick, there are a few things in the movie that broke the hard deck. So that's what we're going to talk about now is things that we noticed that we just didn't really love, and like we said, break the hard deck, just the lows of it. What's one of the things that you maybe didn't love about Maverick?
This is going to be real controversial.
Uh-oh. We love it here.
I think they both should have died.
Maverick and Rooster? Really?
A part of me knows that they never can die and they never should have died. It came out at a time when pretty much the whole world, we're coming out of COVID, we're coming out of all of this experience of isolation and loneliness, trying to develop relationships on the internet, and then just to come out and see this movie that has no agenda. It's just a great movie. They've held off on it forever. It came out at that time when everything was negative. All the news was bad. Everything was like, be scared, be this, be scared, be that. And then all of a sudden this movie comes out. It has this brilliant storyline, all of these incredible experiences that you really feel like you are in there. That's right, when movie theaters were really officially opened up. Came out right at Father's Day, so that was perfect. And the week before, so people went tentatively and saw it, and then the Father's Day weekend, it just was this mass explosion, kicking Buzz Lightyear's butt. Sorry, a little knock there. But it needed the happy ending and the good ending, because that was always going to help revive, I feel like, the culture of the world.
So just that sense of hope.
Mm-hmm.
I would totally agree with that. With how humongous streaming services were getting and how much original content they were producing. As a theater lover, I was concerned that movie theaters were done for. And a particular movie about flying, of all things, it's about a bunch of fighter pilots. So many people, it's not just me saying it. Steven Spielberg has claimed to Tom Cruise that he saved the movie theater business. I mean, Steven Spielberg said that Top Gun Maverick single-handedly saved theaters from going out of business because Tom Cruise for 2 years put his foot down and said, we are not releasing this on Paramount Plus. We're not releasing this on streaming. We're waiting and we're going to put it in theaters because this is where the movie belongs. This is where people deserve to watch it. Because we made it for the theater. We made it for people in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they made it an experience. It's
absolutely.
An experience. When you go to a movie theater, that's why TVs have gotten so big, is because everyone wants to feel like they have that moment in the experience. People have been so out of it with the internet and the internet age and all that when it came out, it was the perfect opportunity for people to come outside of their houses and go to another digital area.
Yeah.
But to go to a real, authentic experience. Obviously, there was the real planes. They were really flying those things. They were really in them. You saw so many things that were legit and real.
One of the things that rubbed me the wrong way just a little bit. And this is a super tiny detail. There's just a few lines once in a while that I just go, I didn't like that. Like I don't like how that was written, yeah, or said something. I just didn't like it. The fact that that's like my biggest complaint with the movie. So, but that's just really it. That's really the thing that I maybe dislike the most. And it's a small thing, like I said. So that really is really the two things that we find fault with in Top Gun Maverick. And again, there's small things.
Real things.
No, there's not anything wrong with the movie. It's just things that we personally don't love.
The tweak.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if I could have like tightened that screw a little bit more, it would have made it absolutely perfect in my mind.
Could have gotten full afterburner.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going to bring us to the part of the show that we're here for. We're going to go beyond. We're going to talk about how Maverick was made, because this is not your mama's average movie. It is done in a way.
It's your daddy's They knew it, so they released it on Father's Day. It just came over. They're like, this is Dad's.
We're keeping that in.
So we're going to go beyond, because this movie wasn't made like an average movie. This movie was made to be extraordinary and in so many different ways.
Yes, it was. It was because, Tom Cruise is the powerhouse behind Top Gun.
He's a powerhouse behind every movie he's in.
Fact.
He just knows his craft. He knows what he's doing.
He does.
And he plays the same character every time.
Well, that's one of the things that I like about Top Gun is that, specifically Maverick, Tom Cruise really got to explore the character a little more, versus in the first movie, he was just kind of a tough guy, needing to prove himself. And there was some emotional points in the first movie, but Tom Cruise as an actor, I think, got to stretch himself a little bit and not just be Ethan Hunt. I mean, he cried, he cried in Top Gun Maverick when he's with Iceman. You feel that.
Cameras.
Yeah, let's talk about the cameras that they used for this movie. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So they actually invented a new technology of like a new type of camera for Top Gun Maverick. It's separated, actually. It's not like a normal camera where you just stick it on your shoulder or a tripod or something, like a big hunky thing. It's tiny, actually. I mean, they needed to fit it in an F-18, so
Is it a GoPro?
Oh, that would have been smart. No.
So
way cheaper.
$200 GoPro. Like
the essentially the lens part of it, of the camera, is right in front of the actors in the jet, like you would normally shoot a movie. But
like in the scene where he's flying, you see his face, and he's like,
"Yep."
Yeah, that's what was happening.
Exactly, and then
that camera,
the recorder, which stores all the information of what they're shooting, was actually separated in a separate part of the jet. They only connected it with a fiber optic cable. So they invented that for Maverick. And
does that just keep it as light as possible?
Pretty much, and for spatial reasons as well.
Okay.
Again, especially because they used 6 of those tiny cameras in the jet, in addition to 4 cameras on the exterior of a different jet. So they had 6 different cameras in the cockpit. So that's a big reason why they needed smaller cameras. Mm-hmm. It's because they put 6 in, huddled together, and then they just fed all that information into the recorder. So again, really new technology that I'd be really curious to see how it gets used in the future. To see if they use that for things like Star Wars or other movies.
With the amount of green screen stuff they're doing these days, it'd be interesting to see if they could start getting retired jets and stuff like that, and start training actors as pilots and getting pilots as actors, and actually doing maneuvers and stuff with their planes, and green screening, say like Guardians of the Galaxy, a ship onto it.
Oh, interesting.
So you actually are getting more in motion. Yeah, I know they're doing a lot of in motion with like lightsaber fighting and stuff like that in Star Wars. And so having that and putting it on a plane and saying, hey, we're going to get all of this information, and you're going to have a plane fly a certain way, and you put that onto a spaceship that you're flying around in, say, a spaceship dogfight.
That'd be cool.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of little things that they do.
Do you want to know a secret?
What?
They actually did that for Top Gun. They recorded, they filmed with an F-18, like with the star, Dark
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
but then they CGI'd over the F-18. So the Dark Star that you see in the movie, that's all fake. That's all CGI. Especially if they do it right, like in Guardians of the Galaxy. They build, like, the full cockpit. That's all a real set. You know, like we talked about in our Guardians of the Galaxy video. You know,
Coming
that
out at a date to be announced soon.
because it's 4 hours
Announced
long.
soon.
It's as long as Justice League.
Some of the filming, they used a helicopter to manage the speed.
Yeah. To help kind of, like, show the speed of the aircraft.
Yeah, so you're not seeing just an aircraft that goes, like this. You're seeing an aircraft go
Yep.
right after each other. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is right there. And it just passed.
You know, I agreed. It was a smart way to do it, and they actually invented more technology. You know, the same kind of crew that was using the helicopter and that helped develop the technology to go into for the cameras to go into the plane, the jets. They took an L-39 jet and attached a camera on a rotating gimbal, so that onto the nose of the L-39, so that they could essentially fly with the F-18s, so that they could get those smooth shots. And you see those quite a bit throughout the movie. And so it's pretty cool. Just the different ways that they shot this movie was incredible.
We talked about it earlier. They put scopes, like rifle scopes, on the ground cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Because the planes, I mean, I don't know if everyone's had the opportunity to watch a plane. Once a plane's about a mile out, which is about 10 seconds max, depending on how fast they're going, but like usually it's a couple seconds they're already gone.
Yep.
You can't see them with the camera, even if you're zooming in. So they had these rifle scopes mounted on the camera, so they were watching the scope and finding them and finding where the planes are. So when there's a long distance shot and you see that it's like all wobbly and the plane's here and you're like wobbling around the plane, that wasn't that they were doing it on purpose.
They were just trying to find
They
the
were
plane.
trying to find the plane. Like they were actually trying to get the planes in the action and keep the camera pointed at them without losing them. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool because there was quite a few scenes, especially the training scenes, where like they're doing this wild thing and the camera's like having a hard time following. It's like, yeah. So this is what you'd be like in another plane flying behind them, trying to see it. And it's no, it was so hard for them to keep a focus on them because they were, 10 miles that way. You had a scope and you're zoomed in like 15 times and you're trying to keep, this little move will put you a mile that way. Like, it's so hard to do. So it was really impressive they were able to get the amount of stuff that they got.
And they were very particular, And if I were to leave us with one last point as well, the director of photography, Claudio Miranda, all he had to work with for lighting was the sun. He had to meticulously plan out, map the flight path for the pilots, and he had to check weather, see what the sun was doing that day, what the weather was like, if they were going to have clear skies. He had his own process to go through, and then he had to tell the pilots, you need to fly in this direction so that we have the best lighting possible. For example, sometimes there's sun in the shot, but it's in the background, and that's called backlighting. So you get good backlighting with the sun kind of to a certain degree, or other times it's directly on the side of the actors. That gives that really cinematic look. Oh, it's just so brilliant what they had to do to get the best looking movie with the situation they were given. So it was just really smart and a technique that I'm definitely going to be using in the future, when using natural light. Ben, Top Gun Maverick. To finish us off, what would you rate it out of 10?
You can't even rate it.
That done.
Of every movie I've ever seen in my life, I cannot rate it because it's that good. And it's in its own class of movie. It's its own type of movie because it's not your typical war movie and it's not your typical action movie. It's Top Gun Maverick is Top Gun Maverick. You could probably compare it against like the Iron Eagle movies. I don't know if you've seen those.
I've seen the first one, thankfully, and I love it.
Yeah. So it's an Air Force movie.
Yeah.
That's all you can say about it because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was amazing. I thought it turned out amazing. I thought it was one of the best film movies I've seen ever.
Huh?
So I won't rate it because it's not rateable.
Wow. Well, gun to your head, how would you rate it? If you had a gun to your head, you had to choose right now, hypothetically, because we got your real answer, but hypothetically,
Easy 10 out of 10. The nitpicky thing that I said earlier is just a dark part of my brain. Like that's all it is, right? So I don't think that it would have been necessary what I said. I just liked the idea. It is hands down, I think overall, the best filmed movie I've ever seen.
wow.
As far as the filming and the choreography and the direction and the skills that people put into it, the work people put into it, I see no comparison.
I 100% agree with you. You know, I only am gonna rate it for the clicks. No, I'm only gonna rate it.
You're gonna rate it a 10 though, right?
Well, duh. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Obviously, 100%. I give Top Gun Maverick just the best score possible. It was hands down the best movie that I watched in 2022. You know, and there was a lot of good movies that came out in 2022. Honestly, there was quite a few, and Top Gun was easily the best for me. That was beyond Top Gun Maverick, and thanks Ben for joining us. And I mean, you're part of us now. You're one of us. You're one of the crew.
Yeah, you're stuck with me. So if you don't like me, blame him. I'm happy to be here though. I'm really excited because you have a different perspective than I have a lot of the time, and I like that we can disagree and still be like, yeah, still like you, like you're not a bad person. I totally disagree with that, or like I totally agree with that, or we're able to work on our perspectives and see each other's perspective, and then say, cool, different perspectives, we like it. We can move forward from there.
Yep. Now on Top Gun Maverick, we did not disagree on hardly anything.
No, there's nothing to disagree on.
Well, thank you for going beyond Top Gun Maverick with us. You know, this is a great first episode with Ben for me. Ben, thanks for being here, and we're going to be doing a lot of good stuff. Are you excited for this summer of movies?
Dude, I'm so stoked. I'm so happy that we got to do this, and I'm really happy that I got to be here for Beyond the Film with Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. It was such a good movie, best movie I think I've ever seen. Definitely top 5. But hey, just remember to like and subscribe. Put a comment in this video and help the algorithm out, because we want to go beyond here at Beyond the Film. And going beyond means that we have to have other people participate with us. And that's the life that we're going to live, is above and beyond, trying to do everything we can to help other people share our love of movies.
We'll see you beyond.